Aloha. I'm Eric Anderson, pastor of Church of the Holy Cross, United Church of Christ in Hilo, Hawaii. And here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about the 5th chapter of Matthew's Gospel. Yes, still. The Revised Common Lectionary continues on through the Sermon on the Mount. This section follows right along from the end of last week's reading, where Jesus tells his disciples that their righteousness needs to exceed that of the scribes and the Pharisees. That is, they are to be better, more faithful people than those who had the best reputations for their faithfulness, for their righteousness. In this section, Jesus goes on to say how that's supposed to be done. And in every example, Jesus raises the bar. It's sort of like a high jump or a pole vault in which the bar keeps getting higher and higher and higher until, to most of us, it looks quite out of reach. I'll be honest, I look at this section of Matthew's Gospel and my first response is, can we just skip this? Because instead of talking about murder and violence, Jesus wants us to talk about anger. Instead of talking about adultery, Jesus wants us to talk about how we think about those we see. And Jesus says that if one is considering a divorce, well, one shouldn't do it. That the breaking up of a marriage, even though it's allowed for in the ancient law of Israel, is tantamount to adultery. Harsh words indeed. High bars indeed. Now, personally, I don't think that Jesus could successfully say to anybody, don't get angry. I don't think that Jesus could say to anybody, don't look at someone and not feel that pulse of attraction. Feelings are things that happen to us. Nevertheless, how we express feelings, how we reflect on our feelings, how we let our feelings govern us, whether we let our feelings govern us, that is something that you and I have some control over in our lives. So if somebody makes us angry, we've got some choices. There are different ways that we can express it. Remember what we've told the young children, the 4-year-olds, the 5-year-olds, use your words. It's amazing how often we not just permit, but even endorse people in positions of high leadership to do things that are certainly not use your words, but constitute actual violence. I could argue, in fact, that war is the ultimate failure of use your words. No, these are the places where Jesus is asking things of us that are achievable. However, when we do not manage to clear the bar, it does not mean that we are unforgivable. That is still something that is coming to us from Jesus, from our loving God. But our first task is to strive for those heights, to strive for those goals of living a life that is loving, that is committed, that is compassionate, that is faithful. At the end of this section, Jesus tells us not to make promises and ensure those promises by means of oaths, of making declarations. I'll do this as long as the sky is overhead. Let your yes be yes. Let your no be no. you and I both know that we don't always achieve that. And for that, there is still the forgiveness of our friends and our neighbors and of our God. But isn't that a worthwhile goal for ourselves? To say yes and to work to maintain the yes. To say no when we have to. And have the no. Have the no be what we mean, what we do. That's what I'm thinking. I'm curious to hear what you're thinking. So send me an email or leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. From Church of the Holy Cross, UCC in Hilo, Hawaii, that's what I'm thinking.